Hello friends, welcome to a live stream of mechanical vibrations today. Today we are going to solve some mechanical engineering vibration problems. And let's start with some of the basic problems which is over here. Okay, this is X. Now, um, let's okay. So this is our system over here, which is mx double dot plus kx is equal to 0. Now, in order to solve this type of problems, what happens is that we have to mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to f of x 3. Okay, divide, where is the pen, divide the entire we'll get x double dot c by m x dot plus k by m x is equal to f of x. So for our case we know that any is made up of CF and PR. Okay, so if x double dot plus c by m mx is equal to 0, we know that k by m is equal to omega n square, and similarly we also know that okay, similarly we also know that c by m is also zeta into omega n to 2. Okay, so this is 2 zeta omega n. Okay, so this is 2 zeta omega n. Now what we will do is that with this 2 zeta omega n, we can write this equation as plus 2 zeta omega n plus omega n square x is equal to 0. Okay, so x square plus 2 zeta omega n into x omega n square of x is equal to 0. Now what we will do is that in this particular equation further we will find roots. The equation, the roots are minus 2 zeta omega n plus or minus square root of 2 zeta omega n whole square minus of 4 into 1 into omega n square, okay, divided by 2 into 1. As you can see that this 2 is taken out common from all these things, so it will get cancelled. So zeta omega n plus or minus, and this omega n is also taken out as a constant. All you left out is zeta square minus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so um, so divided by 1. So finally what you end up is the zeta omega n plus or minus omega n square root of zeta square minus 1. Now to take out minus 1 common, what we'll get is omega n plus or minus I omega n square root of 1 minus zeta square. Understand that this zeta is damping coefficient. Okay, zeta is equal to 0. Sorry, zeta is greater than 1 is called overdamp. Okay, zeta less than 1 is called underdamped, and zeta is equal to 1 critically damped. What is this view? SH view. Okay. So this is called critically damped. Okay, now further moving apart, what we can do is that um, okay, so after this what we can do is that we got roots as x is equal to zeta into omega n plus or minus square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. So what you have to do is that you have to substitute this in the equation. So complementary function equation is x as a function of time. We have to write a into e power zeta omega n plus square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n plus e into e power minus zeta omega n minus square root of 1 minus zeta whole square omega n. This simply boils down to e power minus zeta omega n. Okay, to a cos square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n into t plus b into sin minus zeta square omega n into t. Okay, if this omega n into t is the omega d, if we get to t a into cos omega dt b into sin omega dt. Okay, this is the equation that is the first part. This is the complementary function. function of this equation. There is one more part, which is the particular integral. As you can see from the mechanical engineering equation, x double dot plus 2 zeta omega nx dot plus x is equal to sine of omega t. Understand that this omega is the applied frequency. Okay, this omega is the applied frequency. Now, to solve this, what happens is that most of the cases you will have a cos function over here. Okay, now this is very easy to understand that this is nothing but a differential equation that you have learned in the engineering mathematics. D of omega n whole square of x is equal to cos omega t. Okay, now very easy way to solve this problem is that you write this, you know that e power I omega t is equal to cos omega t plus I sin omega t. Since cos omega t is only the real part, this is the imaginary part. Okay, this is the real part, this is the imaginary part. We only need a real part. So substitute this cos omega t as e power I omega t. Okay, now let's see what the magic is happening. Okay, now over here, as you can see that if you follow me very carefully, that we got an equation that x is equal to cos omega t, that is e power I omega t divided by t square plus 2 into zeta omega n d plus omega n square. This is what I omega is here. Just substitute I omega in entire equation. Okay, just substitute I omega in the entire equation. What we get is plus I omega square to zeta omega n I omega plus omega n whole square. So this turn out that e power I omega t divided by this is minus omega square plus 2 zeta omega n into I omega plus omega n square. Okay, further simplifying I omega t by 2 zeta omega n omega plus what we got is omega n square minus omega square over here. Okay, omega n square minus omega over here of I. Now what, since this is in the form of sum of the function which is a I plus b, since we can't have a denominator as a complex, what you have to do is that you have to rationalize this function like this. Rationalizing the denominator, somehow you end up like you will end up like a square, and with this entire thing as a square, and you will like 1 minus omega t by 2 zeta omega n omega whole square plus omega n square minus omega whole square. Okay, now what is this? This omega it, and what you have got in the upstairs, you have got omega n square minus omega square minus 2 into zeta omega n omega. Okay, so what we can do is that further we can cos omega t plus I sin omega t. Multiplying this entire equation, you will get something which is very similar to us. Okay. Let's refer some books. Okay, it's overdamped condition and okay, underdamped condition. Okay, that's all. Now, okay, this is completed. Let's come to this particular part. Okay, as we have seen in this particular part, okay, if roots are same, see in this case what happens is that roots are same. Okay, so what if the roots are same? The roots will be only same, means that zeta square minus 1 is equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, then what you end up is minus zeta into omega n, and you will get something like this. For x of t is equal to e power a plus bx into e power minus of zeta into omega n into t. Okay, so that's it. That's all. If zeta is greater than 1, then we will use this condition as it is. Okay, now see in this particular case what happening is that if this is a system, the vibrations which are happening is being decayed. Okay, c power minus zeta into omega n into t, this is being decayed. Okay, so very short vibrations will be there. Okay, now let's go further and let's take this equation. Okay, if zeta is less than 1, you get underdamped vibration, and what you will get is the series of vibrations like this. Okay, Okay. The third case is that in case of overdamped vibration, you will get something like this. The vibration will start and finish something like this. Okay, that's all. There will be no vibrations in this case. Let's repeat same thing. I think this will be better. Okay. Okay. n square is equal to 0. Now this is nothing but a d square plus omega n square of x is equal to 0. This gives us what? This gives us d square is equal to plus or minus minus omega n square. So d square is equal to this gives us roots. Henceforth y as a function of x as a function of time gives us omega n. So next ये cos ओमेगा ये भी काम नहीं कर रहा, पता नहीं. Okay, so this is it. This is a simple harmonic equation. Okay, this is a simple harmonic equation, and some cases what happens is that x of t, people write this as sin phi cos omega n t plus cos phi sin omega n t, and somehow they end up like this: sin of omega t plus phi. Okay, x of t. That's all. This is the simple harmonic equation of a system. Yeah, let's go. Let's solve some more problems on another way. Okay, now we are solving mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to 0. In this case, what happens is that divide it by m, c by m, x dot k by mx is equal to 0. This will become x dot plus 2 into zeta m into omega n plus omega n square of x is equal to 0. So x double dot plus 2 into zeta omega nx plus omega n square of x is equal to 0. Now the roots of this equation is minus 2 omega zeta omega n plus or minus square root of 2 zeta omega n whole square minus 4 into omega n square whole square. Okay, so what happened? Divided by 2 into 1. So somehow everything get cancelled. We end up with this zeta into omega n plus or minus square root of zeta square minus 1. This will be the final roots of this equation. Now one is zeta is equal to 1, we get critically damped vibrations. Second is the zeta is less than 1, we get under damped vibrations. Overdamped vibrations. Okay, in order to see these vibrations, I'll draw first critically damped vibration. In case of critically damped vibrations, damped vibrations, what happens is that omega n plus or minus zeta square minus 1. This particular b square minus 4ac term goes to 0. So this term will also goes to 0. So you end up with a single root zeta omega n. This is the only root for t. Now the complementary equation is x is a function of time a plus bx e power zeta into omega n into t. Now how these oscillations will look like? These oscillations will look something like this. We give a disturbance, that's it. The oscillations will die. The oscillations will die. This is e power minus zeta omega n t curve. The oscillations will die. There won't be any oscillations also because it is critically damped. Okay, so there won't be any vibrations in this case. The second case is the over damped case. In this case, what happens? Zeta into omega n plus or minus square root of zeta minus 1. In this case, zeta is greater than 1. So there will be some value over here. Mostly you will get a real roots of this equation. Okay, so for this also there won't be that much of oscillations there. For this also oscillations will be very less. Okay, that's all. The third case is the minus zeta into omega n plus or minus square root of 1 minus zeta square, 1 minus zeta into omega n. Okay, you will get a, so for this case only we will get vibrations. Tick. Okay, so we get continuous vibrations like this. And this continuous vibrations will be there. So how the roots are written? A cos or you can't say, I will write here. Okay, so this is the over damped condition vibration, and yeah, that's all. That's it over here, and there is nothing more to look at it. So we started from here by mechanical. Okay, Let's solve some problems. Didn't told you pi, right? See, okay. So mostly in these cases, x double dot plus 2 into zeta into omega n x dot plus x is equal to sum f naught into cos omega t. Okay, so this is the particular integration for this is f naught into cos omega t divided by x double dot plus 2 into zeta omega n x dot plus x. Now for the time being let 2 into zeta omega n is equal to a and omega n square is equal to b, because there will be one omega n square over here. Okay, so this equation will boil down as cos omega t by x double dot plus a x dot plus b. Okay, చదువుకోవాలంటే వస్తారా నవీన్, చదువద్దు మిగతా చూడాలంటే అక్కడికి వెళ్తారా అంతే. Now this is omega t. Now in this case what we can do is that and complexify this equation as substituting I omega in this equation. What we get, yeah. Rationalizing the denominator, so what you will get from here, you get some simply by product. Okay, and what you will have here, okay, as we know that e power I omega t is equal to cos omega t plus I sin omega t. By already this equation is downstairs as Okay, we only need a see cos. We have a cos function over here, so only we need is a real part. So this multiplied by this, we get a omega sine omega t, and what, and this multiplied by this, we get b minus w square cos omega t divided by a into omega I whole square minus b minus omega square. Okay, now further what we can do, we can solve this further. Can solve this further. Okay, see, we can solve these things further. This is the equation that we ended up. So this will be having a I square over here. Minus a omega square a square minus of b omega square omega. Minus, we can take out minus, so cos will become over here. B minus omega square, and finally we can write this as so we can write this as cos of phi and minus sine of phi sine of omega t by a square omega square plus b square, b into omega square omega. See, this is simply which is trigonometry you might learn in the school. So which is sine of what, omega t minus phi. Sorry, this is cosine, right? So sorry, this is cos, right? So this is cos of omega t minus phi, because cos a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Okay, so yeah, this is it. So what we ended up over here is that we ended up something which is cos of omega t minus phi divided by a square omega square plus b minus omega square whole square. So after further down, what actually we end up over here is that we end up something which is 1 minute, we will end up something which is very strange. You know that from AB, okay, from AB, yeah, this is A, right? Minus phi divided by, this is A, right? 2 zeta omega n, this is whole square omega square plus, what is this? This is omega n square minus omega square whole square. You're getting it? And most of this thing will be boiled down to f naught divided by this equation, 2 into zeta square omega n square plus omega n square minus omega square whole square. So this is the nothing but a steady state response. Okay, this is nothing but a steady state response of a system. So after some algebra manipulation, we can also write like this: f naught is equal to f naught square root of k minus m omega square whole square plus c into omega whole square. This is nothing but a steady state response. Of vibrations. Okay, hope I'm done. So the papers are done. Let's solve some problems in mechanical engineering. Okay. The second question. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, see here. A single degree freedom of a spring mass viscous damper system with a mass m and spring constant k and viscous damping coefficient q is critically damped. The correct relationship among m, k and q is, see, the correct relationship over here is a is equal to square root of 4 kilometer. Okay, हमें always remember this. Square root of 4 kilometer is the critical damping coefficient. Sometimes it is written like km. Okay, that's it. Next question. dou L by dou x dot. You get m x dot. Next, dou by dou t of dou L by dou x dot. Okay. Next, dou L by dou x 1, which gives what? Minus k1 x1 minus k2 x1. Okay. Now put this equation in the Lagrangian form. dt now mx double dot is simple mx double dot. See this, minus of minus k1 x1 minus of k2 this is also x1 is equal to 0. Mx double dot plus k1 plus k2 of x is equal to 0. So x double dot plus k1 plus k2 divided by m of x. Natural frequency omega is n square is equal to k1 plus k2 divided by m. Okay, this is the natural frequency of the system. Now in the question it is asked in the gate examination that what is the natural frequency of the system. By substituting this all these values, let's substitute in these values. Okay, k1 plus k2. K1 is 4000 and 16,000. 4000 plus 16,000 to 4,000 16,000 divided by m. Okay, 56 answer divided by 4,000 is 1.4 square is equal to 1.4. Square root of 1.4 is omega n is equal to 1.18. Now see, we have to understand that if this is a circle, okay, if this is a circle, going one is the one revolution. So going one time is one revolution. So 1 by time is equal to frequency. Omega is equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 by t2 minus t1. So similarly, omega is theta 2 is 2 pi. Starting will be 0 by t1 minus t2. Starting will be t. So this is t. Similarly, omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Now, question that is asked is that what is the frequency it is asked in hertz. So omega by 2 pi is equal to 1 by t is the frequency f. Okay, so we got 1.8 as a answer. I have to divide it by 2 pi divided by 2 into pi 2 into pi 0.18. So dividing this by we get 0.18. So 0.18, right? Frequency is equal to 1 by time. Time is equal to 1 minute. Omega by t is equal to 2 pi by, okay, this is time only. We have calculated time is equal to 2 pi by or one something which we have made mistake. Break.